Welcome to Fox Sports Lab AFL. All right, now with the first week of the bye Sunday without a review on Carlton, my Carlton chief. I'm a bit worried about what you got to say because Friday night they didn't really show much at all improvement. But give us your synopsis of the weekend for Carlton supporters out there.
There's no surprise, Diggo. Carlton are done. It's very simple. They're done. Their season's over. You were bullish. You had them as one of the flag favourites pre-season. They won't be playing finals, mate. They're no good.
That's not the first one I got wrong. Another one I didn't even have in contention was Adelaide. So Adelaide sit in ninth position at the moment, and they got pantsed by Gold Coast in Darwin on the weekend. Flirted with form in Ballarat. We spoke about this last week. Then had a great win in Brisbane at home, but away, totally different team.
Yeah, struggling away from the Adelaide Oval, and that's their big issue. They're playing a good brand of footy. That was a bad loss to the Suns on the weekend. I thought, and mind you, they had their chances in that game as well. So they're just outside the 8, but they've got to work out how to win those away games if they want to be serious come September.
And Gold Coast, so Adelaide were beat by Gold Coast on the weekend. Stewie Dew continually defends himself, and he texted Dimmer Hardwick and said, "Mate, what are you doing to me? I've just got rid of Clarko, and you've just gone instead of the game, and they're putting you in my chair." But 2 wins in Darwin. They sit in 11th. This is the first genuine talk of finals for Gold Coast.
Well, it could be. I suspect they've put in a submission to the AFL to play all their games up at Darwin because they're playing well up there. It takes teams out of their comfort zone. It's been a great fortnight for them, and they've got themselves right in the mix. So they're one of those teams that's just outside the 8 on percentage only. So, you know, it'd be a great story given all the talk about Stuart Dew and how poorly they've been going and is he, you know, who's going to take his job. Wouldn't it be great if they could find a way to play finals this season?
Well, they got Carlton and Hawthorn after the bye, so
very winnable games.
All right, just quickly on Jack
Carlton's an extra bye anyway, Digger.
That's right. That's what I mean. So, you know, they're flying. They've got 2 buys and they're fresh for the back out of the season. Jack Lukosius, it's taken Darwin. He's kicked 5 goals back to back. Are you surprised at his form up forward and we haven't seen it earlier?
Surprised we hadn't seen it earlier. We know he's a gifted player, got a lot of talent. It was just a matter of finding positions for him. You know, he spent the first few years down back and then they tried him up sort of wing and now he seems to be settling in as a forward because he moves well, he reads it well, and he's got a beautiful leg on him. So it's taken a while, but let's hope we get consistency now from Jack Lukosius because he's fun to watch.
And it's been a fast start to the first half of the year. So the Bombers now have hit well and truly the halfway point of the season. They're in 6th position. So Brad's got them flying. Let's be honest. In terms of coming home, it's a very winnable draw, so more games than on the way home. But are we getting about the Bombers or are they the real deal?
Well, they've got themselves in the top 6, but as you mentioned, they do have a very favourable draw and they're playing the bottom teams. That's where they're beating up on. They've got some tough games coming up. It's going to be interesting. I don't think Carlton's necessarily a tough game coming up this week, but then they have to travel away to play Port Adelaide, I think. After that, Freo. They travel away to play Freo. Then they got Port after that. So that's going to sort them out, but they certainly have got a draw that should allow them to play finals, provided they don't slip up.
We're seeing all the young guns, so rising star market. So going into the season, it was all about Will Ashcroft and Harry Sheasel, 2-horse race, but all of a sudden the field has just widened a little bit. So we've got Bailey Humphrey, George Wardlaw, Mitch Owens, Jai Amos and Finn Canahan coming contention. So how have you summed up the younger brigade?
It's great to see those new names popping up, and a few of them played career best games, even though they've only played a handful of games. Their best games thus far on the weekend. Really impressed with Humphrey's game up in the top end, and George Wardlaw looks like he's going to certainly be a great pickup for North Melbourne. But I still think the original 2, Sheasel and Ashcroft, are out in front. And look, I'm a big Will Ashcroft fan. I think he's going to be very, very hard to beat. He's playing in the engine room, so still plenty to play out, but I think Sheasel and Ashcroft still well ahead.
Always season. So Harry Sheasel made some errors on the weekend. From what we've seen so far in the first 11 games, uncharacteristic. Can get a little bit tiring for these young kids in their first year, can't it?
Yeah, it can. It's going to be a long season, and a little bit of that will decide the rising star as well, durability and consistency. And you're right, he did make a few mistakes on the weekend, but Jigo, when you've only played a dozen games, I think you're entitled to make a couple of mistakes, aren't you?
No, I'm as harsh as they'll get, like I was with Carlton. So they're done. Stick a fork in them. So don't get on my bad books. Bung, thanks very much for your time. We'll be back on Thursday to preview the round coming up. You've been watching Fox Sports Lab AFL.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.